Make Your Move is about ownership. It's about owning your experience, your ambition, and your next step. In this conversation, we'll explore what it takes to move with purpose and impact. And I don't think there is anyone better to talk about this topic than Keren Yakalov Zur. And Keren, welcome and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Deborah, for having me. Missed you.
I miss you too. So tell everybody a bit more about yourself, what you do, and how your work helps move the industry forward.
Okay, so I'm working today at DAPAS. I own DAPAS. I actually created it, founded it a year ago. But before that, I actually in the print industry, now I will say 10 years. I was in HP Indigo for almost a decade. I managed the product, the strategy, biz dev for Indigo. Amazing home, which I enjoyed every moment. And that's actually what led me to DAPAS. And what we're doing in DAPAS today is actually taking digital to the next level, the way I see it. But not in the way of the hardware or the press, but in actually how we making that accessible to users, to the small businesses, to people that actually want to print packaging in an easy and simple way. And that's what we did. We built the platform, which is doing end-to-end from the design to the actual product, the pack, till it gets to your home. And we're doing that at end-to-end. And that's DAPAS. And I think this is part of what we are moving, how we are changing packaging and the way people and small businesses consume their packaging.
Yeah, I mean, of all of the new ventures that I've seen lately, DAPAS is definitely on the track to really move the industry forward. As we were speaking about before we started recording, packaging is unless you're part of a company that has to produce packaging, it is not an easy thing for a regular person who's not a print buyer to even understand, or to even understand what their options are. And I went to your site because I wanted to, see what you were all about and what you've been working on for the past year. And within 5 minutes, I was placing an order for Girls Who Print stickers because, first of all, it was so easy to find something that I wanted to purchase. You also gave me points of discovery. I didn't know you made stickers. And I was like, stickers, labels, it makes sense. But you called them stickers. So it was more attractive. It was more user friendly. It's how you move the customers into understanding what their options were. The other thing that I think is honestly a brilliant incorporation is the AI art generation tool that you have there. Sure, people who are designers can upload their own artwork and it looks like it makes you a 3D rendering so you can see what it looks like. But there are plenty of people out there who have no idea. And you can upload a logo and it'll make a cup for you, or it'll make a pillow, or, oh, sorry, not a pillow, a package, or, whatever you want. But you can also ask it to add colors or utilize your colors. So in that sense of making your move, why did you think that? Okay, I'll put it to you this way. I always say HP is a marketing company that happens to sell presses. I think you are a technology company that happens to enable the printing of packaging.
I think this will be like an amazing way to say that. We are a tech company. For the following year, I think the first year before we actually get out of stills and start with actually open the platform, which just happened last month, we developed. We put a lot of focus on development, and the whole idea came with the understanding that packaging is tough. is, it's great for big companies like Coke, Share a Coke and Mondelez and Procter and all the big guys that I used to work with when I was HP. But on the other hand, the one thing I noticed was that actually the small guys find it very hard to print and to actually brand themselves. And I think this is what we're trying to tackle. We're trying to make this available and simple for them. And all the effort that we put on the technology was from two sides. One, for the small business owner to actually, like you said, talk in his language, explain him. I believe most of them doesn't really know how grams the box paper should be or the media, which media they're looking for, but they need something that will fit to their cake. So from one hand, we're trying to talk in their language to enable them to design with or without designer. I think it's also an amazing tool for designers, and we just started. So I don't think we are 100% targeting to replace designers, but also if you don't have design, should be very simple to design on the platform. And on the other hand, once we develop this designer, we also develop the pre-press automation and everything on the print provider side that will actually help the provider we are working with to get things simple and actually, enable us to do the low quantities, enable us to really work and operate the way we wish, to actually give different value and product to the customers who are buying at DAPAS. So it's like it's a technology from two ends. So not only you see on the front, it is also there is a very strong back end.
You said something that is totally the point. The customer just wants a box that their cake fits in, and they want it to look nice, and they don't want it to break on somebody's way home from the bakery or from the farmer's market, whatever it is. And how that gets done, that is not their job. Their job is to bake a cake, It's our job to help them, but people make it so complicated, which is why I love your website.
But they also don't want to buy 20,000 boxes.
Correct.
They want to buy, 300.
Yeah.
And they also want it to arrive in a week or 10 days and not 2 months till it will arrive from China. And they also, they have many other needs on top of just how it will look. And this is part of what we are trying to do. They also want a very simple process and not back and forth on, they need the box, they need the paper cup, they need the paper bag, and everything should be with the same design, but they don't want now to pay to designer for every interaction or change or on every product. So at the end, the process is complex. And what we're trying is to simplify the process, make it very streamlined, to get branded packaging.
Well, I know it's going to be a success. It already is a success, and I will finish my Girls Who Print sticker order after we finish recording. So this is not the only move you have made across your career. Can you talk about what making your move means to you and some of the moves you've made across your career that have had impact?
Yes, of course. So I think even in Indigo, I grew a lot. I started as managing the business development, the market development department, and I grew all the way till I managed. I was part of Indigo management.
I'm going to just interrupt you for a second. Was that your first job ever?
No. So
I want to go back to how you got there.
Okay, how I got there. So before Indigo, so I started my career in a telecom company as a product manager. After a few years, when Wi-Fi become something which is less sexy, I found myself in a 3D printing company called back then Object, which was merged with Stratasys, company I don't know if you know in Minneapolis. So I was in Object and then Stratasys for 6.5 years. managed the product, and then also we acquired the strategic consulting company. So I led the acquisition and I managed the strategic consulting. And actually, this is also how I got to Indigo, because Indigo and Stratasys are sitting on the same street. And back then, I'm sure you remember Yogev, and we met to really talk about what we are doing on the strategic consulting, and just to brainstorm. And one thing led to another, and I found myself in Indigo, in my first role, managing the market development. And I grew a lot. Over the years, really had an amazing time. I think HP and Indigo is the best home a person can hope for. And from that perspective, really, I grew till the point I managed the entire product, strategy, business for Indigo worldwide. And it was an amazing, amazing journey, and I probably could have stayed there. But at some point, I really felt that I got more and more requests from many, people abroad and people all over asking me, how do I print that? Who can do that? And I found that what's supposed to be very simple is not simple. And although I was I was in the comfort zone, and I think this is what most of the people find hard. And you ask me also, like, how do you leave such a job? It's not an easy decision. It took me a year. It was a long process, and also after I decided, I gave a very long notice. There was a combination with the war in Israel and everything, but I gave over a year of notice. And at the end of the day, it was really the understanding that although I never thought I would be a founder, I was a corporate person. I enjoyed the corporate, had an amazing time. But at the end of the day, I fall in love with the idea behind DAPAS. I felt there is a huge opportunity to actually change. And it took me time, but I got the courage. I left the comfort zone, the amazing job, my amazing colleagues, employees, team. And I started with nothing. At day one, I wasn't even sure what will be the right direction to approach. I just knew what I want to do. And then, I built it day after day. People are saying it was fast, but for me, I felt like it wasn't fast enough. But I found back then it was me and myself after a team of how big was my
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, I do.
and and from having chief of staff and two admins, it was me and myself. But it was amazing, and really got to know amazing investors. I have really people that could only hope for, which were backing the biggest companies in the world, I would say, not
Wow.
only in Israel. The guy who led the investment here was also the first investor of Wix, which you probably know, and many other good companies. And this is how we started. Actually, the first round, the pre-seed round was last year on April 25. And now we are already 11 people here in the team.
Yeah.
Big, 4 people on R&D, product, operation, customer success, everything. So now it's a company. But
Yeah,
when
it is.
but
It is.
when I left the comfort zone, there was not even money. It was
Right.
only an idea, and I can tell you it was worth every chance that I took.
So I love that you pointed out that you left the comfort zone. And you it took you a little while to get the courage to leave the comfort zone, but I don't think you had a confidence problem because you knew that you could do this, correct?
It's not about confidence. It's also about, I wasn't a kid. And I got to a point in my career that, I was managing a big team, huge budget, amazing company. I love the people. So sometimes you're saying, okay, maybe it's a crazy idea, but I'm like, crazy idea comes and go. And why doing that? This is actually what probably was 80%, if not 90% of the people looked at that like,
Right.
okay, why the hell did you do that? Um, but I just, I just felt for me it was at that point or never, and I decided that I can always go back. I believe to
Yeah,
Indigo or to other corporates and
right.
companies, but there was the opportunity for me to actually fund something from scratch, do something which was not exist, and go with the dream. And at the end, I'm a dreamer. By the way, also Indigo, I think part of the reason I feel Indigo is amazing home is that I was able to dream, fulfill, and thrive, and really make things happen. So I think it's a nature growth for me. But yes, but it wasn't a simple one, not an easy one. I have kids, I have a husband, I have responsibilities and I wasn't like at the
Yeah, it
bottom.
wasn't like Apple came along to hire you. You needed to start something yourself. I mean, it's just I'm it's incredible what has gone on, and I just have to let everybody know of something extremely cool that you were able to do at Indigo. You had the sounds of the Indigo presses recorded, and then you had a DJ compose like a techno track to it,
The
and
infected mushroom.
there
The
was a
infected
rave.
mushroom.
There was a rave in Drupa in your I can't call it a booth. It was the entire hall, but I sent photos out from in there, and everyone was like, "Are you at a rave? Are you at a dance party?" I'm like, "No, I'm in Indigo Hall 7. I'm in HP in Hall 17, and
But
they are
that,
having
but
a
that,
freaking rave in here."
but that, that's something I really owe to, people like Chaim, like Noam, that actually, it was a bit crazy when I came with the idea. And you need to
You
you need to
need
go
people,
you need to go you need,
exactly.
you need people that will actually go with you on that.
Yeah. I mean,
And
you were
and
that person. You were that person
they
for me. I'm like, I've got a crazy idea. I'm going to talk to you about it because I totally understand
yeah,
that.
I'm a partner for crazy things. Yeah.
You are a
So,
fantastic partner for crazy things.
so yes, it was crazy. The infected mushroom. Actually, it's actually till today, it's the ring on my phone.
Oh,
Uh,
that's so funny.
yeah,
I
no,
love
it's I
it.
love it. I love it. Yeah, it was. I
It's
think
really cool.
everyone are still talking with me about that. So
Yeah,
probably
because it was
we
fantastic.
did something good.
It was an amazing idea. Okay. I want to know, in this case, because we've already spoken about, you made your move and you knew it was the time to make your move because, you were ready to build something for yourself. I'm interested in how you formulated your team from yourself looking out. How did you understand, like, who do you needed first? Who do you needed next? Were you looking forward to things you would need in the future, or were you looking at, oh, something came up, now I need to find somebody for this? And this is so other people can understand your thought process about it.
Okay, so one, I came with a lot of managerial experience. Unlike many people who are building startup and never managed before, I managed, for many years, and from that perspective, I think it is super helpful. So I knew how to plan in advance, what's coming. Um, what I didn't know is how you start from scratch, because I always work in companies that already had something. And here I was really lucky to have amazing investors that, add on their portfolio many other startups that already grew. And I think it's the ecosystem of founders is there is nothing like that. Everybody wants to support you. Everyone wants to give you advice. Everyone are willing to invest time in you without nothing. It's really amazing. And really, I think my investors helped me with the first few hires. Even two of them actually came from one of my investors that he actually brought me the people and told me you want to meet them, and he knew what he was talking about. And some others, they just connected me. It was also completely different profile from what we had in HP. So it's not that I actually looked back and said, okay, these are the people I worked with. No, it was something different. This is hardware, this is software. It's a totally different playground. But the experience is the experience, and I always plan in ahead. I know I can tell you now, I have my hiring plan for 26. And so there is, no doubt that that it's, there is a plan behind it. But there is also many, by the way, question marks, and it's okay on the way to find that you want to change, you want to do something different. You're learning on the go.
Yeah. What advice would you give to women in the industry who are thinking about making their next move?
Don't be afraid. My dad used to say that you can't win if you don't dare. And you talked with me earlier about being a swimmer. So I used to be a competitive swimmer, and I think this is something that actually goes with me on everything I'm doing. Like if nothing happened to those who don't dare.
Yeah.
And in order to go big, you need to take chances on everything in life. And it's true also on your career. So I will say here is that if you have the passion, if you believe in what you're doing, if you think this is the right thing, go for it. It's probably worth to try. Worst case, you will succeed.
Worst case, you will succeed, is what you just said. Yeah, that's the worst thing that could happen is you can get everything you want.
Yeah,
I love.
like
Yeah, I love that.
the obvious is that you probably will not make it, right? This is what everyone like, yeah, chances are not big, Okay, but what if yes?
Yeah, 1,000%. Okay, if you wrote your career memoir right now, what would the title be, and who would you ask to write the forward?
Wow. Okay, that's I think if we will take the line that we just talked about, I will say that as the name, I will say the title will be Comfort Zones Are Expensive.
Ooh, I love that.
And who I would ask to write that, it probably depends when you ask me. If it will be in few years or few months or years from now, when DAPAS is already grown up, I would love even one of our customers to share how this vision actually changed his life.
Or her
And
life. It's girls. It's
her life,
yeah,
his,
right.
totally agree with that. And if I need to ask someone today, I will probably ask someone from the industry and that know print, understand the change, love what we are doing. And this would probably be, there are few, by the way, few good people that supports me all over the way. And but in the spirit of this group, which is next week, I would choose John Bailey.
Oh, Amazing choice.
John, probably for the spirit, for the way he will write it, but also because he's a big believer. From the first second I told him what I'm
Yeah.
building, he was like, "I'm with you. Whatever you
He
need,
has a
I
testimonial
love
with a ton of emojis on your website. I
it."
noticed
Because
that immediately. Yeah, it was amazing.
he's probably one of the first believers,
He's incredible.
and really, and a huge supporter. So yes, so I would choose John to write that.
Excellent. I want to thank you so much for your time and thank you for for everything that you do to help the industry move forward. Until next time, everybody, empower long and prosper.
Thank you.